Hello everyone, this is Margarita. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back. This is going to be part 2 of our mixed media accordion style art journal. We left off at creating the cover and the front and back cover and the accordion insert, as well as having the closure twine in place. So in this video I'm going to continue with the inside of this journal, and these are some of the pages that I created in the last video. So if you're new here, my name is Margarita. I'm a mixed media artist, a card maker, and an overall paper crafter of lots of different mediums. And yeah, I wanted to share this really fun mixed media art journal. So yeah, once I've done the covers and I've added some stitching details, I'm gonna take some black ink and a blending tool, and I'm gonna add some shading over the edges of both covers as well as all of the inserts. And once that's all done, I'm gonna start decorating the inside of my journal. I've cut a piece of one of my mixed media background papers, and here I'm cutting out a circle to give the appearance of a moon or sun, I guess, during like sunrise or sunset, when it's like got those pretty colors. And I'm gonna just go through all of the papers that I have to figure out what I want to add to this layout. All of the layouts are going to be double page, so it's going to be both sides of each accordion page, if that makes sense. And I am adding a little bit of shading just to have some more contrast. And I do work pretty intuitively when I create, so I don't really have a plan in place or a sketch or background layout in mind. I kind of just go with the flow. I look at what I have, I mix and match things, I like to lay things out, see how it feels, change things around, and then once I feel comfortable or feel happy with how it looks, then I start to adhere things to my project. I also added a little bit of splatter here. Now I'm looking for a cluster for this page. I have these clusters that I wanted to use. I don't end up using this cluster here, but I don't think so. Maybe I do. I'm not sure. I feel like I recorded this a while ago, and now I'm doing the voiceover. But I do like that little leaf, and this leaf was part of a what was that called? A challenge for a fodder school that I learned about it through Instagram. You can check out their site. They're a really cool website for anybody who likes mixed media and collaging. I think these little faces were also part of one of the challenges, and I add one of these little faces to almost every layout in this booklet, in this little journal. I go through most of them until I settle on one that I like. And again, you do see how things change as I go along, just based on how the layout is making me feel. I grab some acrylic paints here to add a background because I feel like it doesn't have enough contrast. So I add some black, red, and blue paint and create this border. And this is what I love about mixed media, is you can use everything you have. You can use watercolor, acrylic paints, markers, crayons, anything that you have, cut aparts, backgrounds that you've made, collage pieces from anywhere that you have, magazine pages or books. And so you can see I've already changed the background multiple times. First I had the cluster, and then I had that dash, like little marking paper, and now I have circles in the background. And I've settled with that one because I glued it down, so it's not going anywhere. And then I add a little more color to the bottom with this little strip of painted paper. And I'm just making sure that I can still bend my page even though I put that on the crease. And then to finish it off, I just add a little quote sticker. And of course, I've got to add some kind of marking to that. So I add some black marker around the edges. And that completes this layout. I'm going to move on to the next page. I only get as far as like 2 or 3 pages in here, but towards the end of the video, you'll see the entire journal that I created, the front and the back. But here you'll see the process for the first few pages. So here's again the next page, and this is my process. I'm laying things out, kind of seeing how they go, what kind of feel they give me. And once I'm happy with how that looks, and I move on to the next step. So here I wanted to add some yellow behind the flower, and so I added some paint, some acrylic paint, and now I'm going to start gluing down my elements. And I like this water. I don't think this is watercolor. These are like sprays that I was practicing and playing around with, and then a stencil that I was trying out with some little white like starburst markings from a white gel pen. And again, I'm just making sure that whatever I put over my fold, my crease, is gonna still allow my page to bend. And I lifted the corner there just to add that bottom piece, and so I gotta glue it back in place. And now I can put my little flower. This is also part of the fodder school challenge. I cut out a word from a page that I had with just some random font words. Before I lay that out, I do add this orange half circle in the back. Now, I was like, no, because it's too sheer. I needed it to be more opaque. So I added a little bit of orange and white paint directly onto my paper, and then just make sure that it's nice and opaque. And once that's dry, I can add my wording to it. I do add a little bit of blending to the edges so it stands out more. And then I put that down with some of my glue gun. Now you see me alternate between like liquid glue and the glue gun. I don't have a preference. I feel like I tend to use the glue gun for more thick pieces of paper because it just adheres faster, even if the thicker papers still adhere even with the regular glue. So yeah, I think it's just a matter of whatever I grab, because again, this is very intuitive. So again, I've added this painty paper on the right hand side, and now I'm adding some color to the left. So I wanted to use this crackle paint, so I blended it with some red paint to make a pink color. But I don't know if I didn't use enough of the crackle paint because it didn't have any cracks in it. Either that, or maybe the crackle paint is just old. But essentially, the crackle paint is supposed to create the look of cracks on your surface. I think the thickness also factors in, like how thick your layer is. The thicker it is, the like deeper the cracks are going to be. And I've got a pretty thin layer, so that could also be why it didn't really make much of a difference. But either way, I like the color that it created. And now again, I'm laying out my pieces, trying to get what I want on here. And then once I settle on a look that I'm happy with, I'm gonna start gluing things down. So again, I had to tuck that underneath the other piece. And yeah, that's as far as I got, mostly because my battery died. But here's a full look at the journal itself. So you can see I put a button closure at the front with some little textured pieces. And these are all of the layouts that I created. These are the first 3 that you were able to see. Well, this is the 3rd one all finished up. I added just some like scribble text and some other elements there. Here's another one that gives the feeling of like a night sky. I really like the circles, the black circles on the right. And that's what it looks like when it's all opened up. I love these. I'll probably make a few more. It's also a good way to use up little scraps that you have, or even die cuts, or like ephemera pieces that you might have if you find other elements that coordinate with them. And so this is the back, and I have a few more layouts on that side as well. That's the last one, and that's what that looks like. And so yeah, so this is a really nice fun project to just play around with some paint and glue and cutting and different little projects that I've been working on the side. So I hope you give this a try. It's also a really great way to recycle paper and junk mail and things like that. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share. It really helps my channel out, and I really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in the next video.